Today's video, we are going to be doing a full-on renter-friendly kitchen makeover. Here is the space we are working with. Sorry, I did not get a proper before video, but hopefully you guys get the gist. The kitchen has this black speckled countertop and backsplash, which I really don't love. The light only reaches the kitchen in the afternoon, so most of the day it feels quite dark in there. I have found myself not filming at all in this kitchen because it is super reflective and dark and just does not feel my vibe. The big hurdle was trying to create a major transformation, but only using renter-friendly products. So here's the plan. Step number one was brightening up the space in the easiest way possible. I knew contact paper was going to be a bit of a struggle, but I found these peel and stick tiles that looked pretty easy to apply. So we're going to go ahead and put those up first. They kind of feel like a very thin styrofoam. It's from a company called Countertop. I'm hoping that I'm saying that right, but they have a lot of good options on their website that are a little bit more unique than other ones I've seen, and they look very realistic from the reviews. Here are some of the other ones I considered. I was like, do we go with a little pop of color? But I just gotta be true to myself, stick with neutral. I think that's what I'll always be happy with. This is the one I went with. It is like technically a gray, but it's a very light gray, and it has like really good like realistic texture to it, and it's more of like a matte, and it has kind of like little like speckles of like a warmer color in it. So this is what we're gonna do for the backsplash. Step one was applying the backsplash. These peel and stick tiles were really easy to work with. I started from the right side of my kitchen and worked my way left. I probably could have done a better job of measuring things out. Maybe it would have made things go a little quicker, but I really just eyeballed a lot of it. I'm not really a perfectionist, so if you are, I'm sure you could do a much better job than I did. But I basically lined up each tile, outlined where I would need to make a cut, took it off, cut it, and then as I continued on, I started to actually make templates. I probably should have done that from the beginning because it was way more productive. Okay, for these top pieces, I am filling them in like this, and I actually just cut out one, and then I am layering it on top of another piece and cutting it to size.
Start getting in my head.
What, you think you're just like...
I'm like the baby sleeper master.
You're the baby whisperer.
The baby whisperer.
You're so good at it.
That's it. Don't get in my head.
But you are. And then for the countertops, I found some contact paper on Temu, which was significantly cheaper than getting it from Amazon. So I was like, you know what, let me just order it and see how I like it. I don't know how great the quality on this is gonna be or how it's gonna stand up, but I feel like picking out the countertops was kind of like a harder thing to do. I wish there was something like this, but maybe like instead of the gray, maybe like a warmer color and kind of like super minimal, like not as contrasted as this, I guess, but I figure we'll just try it. So we'll see how this goes. Kind of here is the combo. I do feel like they match well together, but I don't know if it's gonna be like, I don't know how I feel about this in particular, so we will see when it's down. But this I'm happy with. Then I tried out a couple of contact paper samples just to see how it fit with the backsplash. I really wasn't sold on this contact paper. I didn't love just like this really trendy gray marble. I just feel like it's a little bit out, but sourcing contact paper was really hard, especially just trying to find a minimal design that looked realistic. So we went with it. It was really cheap and I thought I would give it a try. We've laid down one piece of contact paper just to see kind of if I like the backsplash with it. And now that this paper's down, I feel like the backsplash is really pulling more of the cool tones and it's not matching perfectly. So I had some thoughts. I feel like that there are so many other backsplashes that probably would have worked better with this that I could have chosen. But because they are temporary, I'm thinking we can paint them a little bit more of that creamy white color. So we have some extras. I'm gonna just paint one. This was Kyle's brilliant idea.
Cha-ching!
And I have some sample paint, so I'm just gonna paint one of these more of a creamy white and then hold it up and see if we should pull the trigger and do all of them. Painted two different samples. This has a little bit more of a creamier warm tone, and I added baking soda to give it like a little bit more texture. This one would definitely need a second coat, but it's kind of more of a lighter white. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but let's take a look. After painting the tiles and seeing what it would look like with the contact paper, I thought this was definitely the right move. So I went ahead and started painting the entire backsplash. I had to do 2 or 3 coats on it, but honestly, it took to the paint really well and I think it turned out amazing. If I could go back, I would probably just pick a different backsplash that didn't have those gray tones in it. They had so many good options, so I probably could have just gone with something else and saved myself this process, but overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Okay, the funny thing is I ordered like 4 or 5 rolls of this contact paper, and then when I put on the next roll, it was literally a completely different color than the first. So I had to take up that first piece, and guess what? It was more blue toned, so it probably wouldn't have been such a big difference, but you know what, I'm still glad I painted the backsplash. After a little trial and error, I found that using a towel to put down the contact paper was by far the best method, so I would definitely recommend that. At first I tried using a credit card, but this actually created some very sharp indents in the paper and bubbles, so I would definitely recommend the towel method. It was so seamless. You can see the seam lines and some imperfections throughout. Some of these corners were really hard to get pieces to fit in, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. If you are a perfectionist, it may drive you crazy, but for me, I have no problem with it, and the overall transformation of the kitchen was well worth it. Okay, we have been living in the kitchen for a few weeks now. The contact paper is holding up pretty well. There are a few spots that are lifting up, kind of those like small filler pieces, but I do have extra contact paper, so I think I'm just gonna replace the spots as they get, I don't know. It's the hard part is since they don't lay completely flat, they just come up really easily. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. But we are gonna make a couple more improvements to the space, and the next to do is swapping out the hardware. Now the hardware is not terrible. It is these, I don't know if this is like Spanish or what style this would be, but they're definitely not exactly the modern look I'm going for. So I'm just gonna swap them out with these really simple poles I got on Amazon. These are very lightweight, inexpensive. I think I got like a 20 pack for maybe $20 or so. So you can kind of see the difference. They are a little bit larger and yeah, just have a bit more of a modern look to them. Need a big Ziploc to keep all of the old hardware together. Step number 3 was swapping out the hardware. I feel like this is such an easy and affordable way to really transform a space. I didn't choose anything too different from the original hardware, but I do feel like it tied everything together. All right, it is time for the big reveal. Here she is in all of her white, bright glory. I am very happy with this transformation. I enjoy filming and being in this kitchen so much more now that I've done this makeover. I will say the best swap was definitely those peel and stick backsplashes. I would say the contact paper is probably something I wouldn't totally recommend unless you truly do not like your countertops. For me, it was worth the effort, but if you're just like on the fence about it, I would skip it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this transformation and any suggestions in the comments. I love you guys, and remember, Jesus loves you more.